Welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be making a double V split with rhinestone embellishments. For this cup I chose a Tipsy Magnolia 34 Plump. I wanted to show as much vinyl as I can because I just absolutely adore this vinyl. It was made by Elle at Roselle's Creations, and when I seen it I knew I had to make a tutorial on it. So you'll start just by a traditional V split. You'll split your vinyl in half and then you cut. Now you'll take one large piece and you keep that piece. You don't cut it again like you would in force on a normal V-split. So I usually just pick the side that the design flows best with, and I trimmed it off because I didn't get it perfectly cut and I want my seams to be very, very straight. So I laid up against my mat. And then I always cut a little piece off. That gives me my laying point, and it helps you to get your vinyl straighter. Overall, this cup is really not difficult. It just helps having someone to show you kind of how to lay the pattern out and what to do. So once I get this all the way applied, I will take my cutter. It's an edge trimmer and it works really good because even though I had my edges straight, I still didn't get it laid all the way on there straight. But you don't want to worry about that, because once you have it all the way on, you can take your edge trimming tool or an X-Acto knife and you can get that nice crisp line. Now, if you decide to get an edge trimming tool, I really do think they're a must-have. I like to apply a lot of pressure. That will ensure that your line is straight and crisp all the way around. All right, on to our next piece. So that second piece of vinyl that you had laying, you're going to now fold that in half and cut it. Okay, now we want to pull back out that second piece of vinyl that we had laying, fold that in half, and we're going to make two pieces out of that one. And then you'll pick the one that flows best with the V that you already have on your cup and lay that down. All right, I know we're folding a lot, but one more time. So we got to fold that last piece into two again, cut it, because it's going to guide us and make a V that we're going to lay on the second piece of our cup under the one we've already done. And by the time you have all of these folded and cut, you should have all of your vinyl should match flowing down after all the folds. It should work in theory that way. Sometimes it doesn't, but if you have a seamless design, it normally works pretty well. Okay, now we're going to use those two pieces that we cut. And what I like to do, I just laid the smaller one on there and then I taped it just so it didn't move and I could cut it properly. And then that V that we cut out there, that's what we're going to lay on our cup. Okay, we are all done cutting up the vinyl. So now we'll lay our V on, and you'll see that second piece, it comes up there nicely on one side, but then it flows down and brings you your end on the other. So I just take my little V, I line it up with the other one so it's straight, and then I always cut a piece of backing off, stick it on. And now this is really easy because you can do it right at the point, and then you know you'll have it perfectly lined. So let's talk about PDB's vinyl, because y'all have to know, if you haven't gotten their vinyl before, it is so easy to work with. I didn't have to move the vinyl on this cup a lot, but one cup I did, I had to reposition it like 10 times just because of me. I can't lay a straight line to save my life. But it feels like butter, it is textured, and it is everything. Okay, so now we're into glitter, and I used Falling For You and Cafe Mocha. Now, I did not capture the whole glittering part of this, but you pretty much get the point. I painted on a brown because I wanted to give it a little bit extra pop, but then I didn't like the Falling For You. I felt like it was a little too dark by itself, so I added in Cafe Mocha off of camera, and it turned out fabulous. And then I seal it so that way you don't have to worry about glitter getting on your vinyl. So once I seal a cup, and you can use whatever you choose for a sealer, it doesn't matter. But once I seal my cup, I like to let it sit for 24 hours just so that my epoxy doesn't get cloudy. And so I put 2 coats of epoxy on, did a little sanding as pictured below, and then I went to my UV DTF decal. Now for the decal, this was a wrap that I cut up because I just loved the little ghosty and I love the cottagecore theme. But you don't have to do anything here. You could just leave it blank. You could do words. You could do a whole nother design, just depending on what you do. When you're doing your UV DTF, if that's what you decide to use, you want to make sure that your hands are very clean, there's no oil on them, and that you apply a lot of pressure before you peel that transfer tape up. Now, I epoxied again once I put my decal on, and I also added in diamond dust just to give it that extra little sparkle. Now the fun part comes. We get to apply our rhinestones. So for me, I like to sand where I'm going to put the rhinestones because you want to have a little grit and have something for them to adhere to. So I just simply fold my fine grit sandpaper until I make just a fine line, and I can go around and sand it that way. Then I clean it back down, and then I use my glue and I start on my outline. And I just follow the V-split. I start at the point and I go all the way up. I used SS20 for the V-split, and this is called Cream Brulee from PDB, and oh my, these are just stunning. I wish the camera would do them justice. Of course, my ADHD brain, when I was about halfway through doing my V-split, I started noticing how cute it would be to put rhinestones on the center of the flower petals. So, of course, I had to add those. So now that we are done with our rhinestones, we are going to do the bottom of our Tipsy Magnolia 34-ounce plump. So I used Falling For You and Cafe Mocha. I mixed those together with my UV resin from PDB, and I'll pour that in my very center. And then on the outer rim, I used Neverland because I just thought the creams and the dark browns really went well with the cup. Once I get those all poured in there, I will use my UV light, and then I like to set my cup outside to just get that nice sun cure, and it worked perfectly. I save my bottom for the last thing I do. I don't know why. You don't have to do it in that order. That's just the way I do it. So once I get it all cured and it's sat in the sun for a little while, I go in with my UV DTF business sticker and I apply that to the bottom. Look at that shine. That is PDB glitter for y'all. And this is their new business logo stickers with the Tumbler care instructions. I absolutely love those, and they fit a Tipsy absolutely perfect. And then once you have laid that sticker on, you can put one more final coat of UV resin and she is completely done. And that means y'all have stuck around for the entire 11-minute video, and I cannot thank you enough. I don't know all the things yet, but I'm learning, and I want y'all to learn as I go, and you can grow with me. I hope you guys try to make one of these, and if you do, I have a Facebook group. It's called Salted Citrus Designs Community, and I know that's a mouthful, but I would love for you to join there. We have a supportive community, and you can share your artwork or whatever you work on, and here she is in all of her glory. I will list the products down below that I've used. I hope y'all have a great night, and thank you for watching.